in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. True. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Were there signs there? Were there no signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I am the host for Fight CPS with Miss G, and I also work for Attorney Vincent W. Davis. I have my lovely co-host today. It's Cassandra and Michael.
Hello.
And, hi, everyone. And I just want to start off. One of our callers today, one of them, addressed to me that she would appreciate me speaking to her daughter, who is in denial when it comes to CPS. I want to also inform you guys that in San Bernardino County, social workers have on their business cards now practitioners. Okay. Practitioners. I received one of the ladies I was talking to, and she texted me the business card, and she said, Georgette, now they're practitioners. And she asked the social worker, she said, how old are you? She said, my age doesn't matter. And she said, I'm 27. And she said, you're a practitioner? She said, honey, I went to school for many years to become a registered nurse. And she said, you have no idea what you're talking about. This is the case. Her grandchild is type 1 diabetic. The nurse from the school reported the mother that her son is diabetic and he's not being cared for, which is not true. They have records of medical doctor visits, blah, 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 blah. The nurse at school is not really qualified to do the same testing as a professional doctor would do, especially with a child with diabetes. I'm diabetic, but I'm type 2 diabetic. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, his A1C was, I think it was 6 or something like that. But type 1 diabetic, the grandmother was explaining to me, is different than type 2. So she knows a lot about type 1 diabetes because she's also type 2 and she understands the difference between the two. So she was explaining to me that she told her daughter that, don't trust them, what have you, this and this and that. Her daughter thinks that if she just does whatever the social worker tells her to do, that everything is going to be okay, which is not true. And I just want to tell you guys this. Do not assume that the social workers is your friend. Do not assume that. The worst thing that could happen is for you to lose custody of your children, possibly forever. A juvenile dependency investigation sometimes leads to a criminal investigation, which is separate and apart from social workers' investigation. It may really help you if you do not talk to a county social worker or a policeman without a first consulting with an attorney, because it could lead to you losing your children forever or going to jail and being convicted of crimes. Teachers, doctors, therapists, daycare providers, or any person can make an anonymous call, report suspected child abuse to a county social worker, and the county social worker will take that and run with it. Their goal is to separate the children from their family. Their goal is not to unite them or unify them with their family. And let me tell you how they do it. Child Protective Services, also known as CPS or DCFS, their protected empire built on just kidnapping children. Bill Clinton 1997 Act offered cash bonuses to the state for every child they adopt out in foster care. And in order to receive the adoption incentive bonuses, CPS treat kids like merchandise that sells. And they must bring plenty of innocent children so the buyers can choose. The buyers are the adoptive family. Workers work hard to keep the federal money flowing. Each bonus is multiplied by a percentage. That percentage, the state has managed to exceed baseline adoption numbers. Therefore, the state and local community, which is CPS, work hard to reach their goal to increase the number of adoptions. This program is set by the very top and is run by the Health and Human Resources. This is why victims of CPS do not get the help from their legislator. Basically, your tax dollars is what pays this gigantic piece of shit system and keeps it flowing. 6 out of 10 kids die in foster care, if not more. CPS became this protected empire built on just kidnapping children, separating a family, which is really illegal kidnapping. Poor parents or middle class parents are targeted to lose their children because they do not have enough money to hire an attorney. CPS workers commit fraud and withhold evidence. Let me repeat this again to some of you who do not understand. CPS, DCFS, Child Protective Services workers commit fraud and withhold evidence in court, and there is no checks and balances. Judges allow them to run the show. The separation of families and the snatching of children is growing as CPS business grows because the state and local government are accustomed to having these taxpayers' dollars to balance their overgrowing budget. The ones that benefit from this, as I mentioned to you guys many times before, are the state employees, social workers, children therapists, court-appointed attorneys, also known as court pretenders, guardian ad litem, CPS investigators, judges, foster parents, adoptive foster parents, and children psychiatrists. All of them looking at children in the state custody to provide job security. We, the people, need federal congressional hearing to abolish the state and financial incentives that separates families from money. Okay? It's all about money, and it's all about control and power. I was telling Cassandra and Michael, I don't know what happened to Michael, but I was telling Cassandra and Michael earlier that I received 14 calls today. And each call, I kid you not, is like they knew each other. And they're separate counties in LA, by the way. Well, I'm talking about San Bernardino, Riverside, but it was a similar story. Please, Miss G, speak to my daughter on your show today. I can't mention her daughter's name or the other, mother's, grandparents' daughter's names. But I'm going to say this message to all of you in general. CPS is not your friend. The initial investigation of your case, CPS will tell you to sign a safety plan. You do this, you're going to get your child back within a week. You're going to get your child back within 30 days. That's a lie. That is a freaking flat out lie. The reason they give you breadcrumbs to kind of distract you is because they don't want you to be prepared. They want you to be blindsided. the juvenile dependency attorneys that CPS provide, I mean, that the state provides you guys as free attorneys, they don't get paid by you, but they get paid, but they are free for you. But, or however, I rather say, is that they get paid and they're not going to work to help you. None of them do. And they see you as the criminal. They see you as the bad parent. They don't believe anything you say, even when you show them evidence. And that's why oftentimes I say they're stupid. Because when you're a stupid person, the truth is in front of you and you still believe a lie. When you believe a lie, when you see the truth in front of you, that means you're a stupid person. And what they're doing to families is disgusting. Is disgusting. Because mothers are paying the price when they do everything to protect their children. Fathers are also paying the price when they're trying to protect the mother and their children and the children. Remember, the attack, they have to separate the family in order for them to win. The separation of family comes first. And their goal is to withhold evidence from the courts to make you look as bad as possible. And then they target your children. They go to your children. And children, I pray to God that you guys are listening to this somehow. Do not believe what anybody says about your mother, because they are trying to divide you away from your mom and say it's your mom's fault. Do not believe that. Do not ever believe that your mother was behind any malicious act that forced her to be separated from her children. That's what the system wants you to think. That's what the other parent wants you to think. But that's not the truth. It's far from the truth. And children in general, they will believe. They have the tendency to, somehow believe that this shit is happening. But oftentimes a social worker would say this, your mother didn't show up to the visitation because she doesn't want to see you anymore. Or your grandmother didn't want to see you anymore. That's why she's not coming to visit you. So they start alienating the children slowly. So the alienation comes slowly. So I want you guys to be aware of that. I also want you guys to realize that your court-appointed attorney telling you to plead guilty to get your kids back, that's a bunch of shit lies that they're giving you. That is not the truth. Never plead guilty to something you've never done. Never. If you didn't do it, you don't plead guilty to it. But sometimes, or oftentimes, I rather say, I would say, is that when the parent is so desperate, that they tend to do whatever possible just to get their kids back. But that's not going to get you your kids back. So don't be delusional. You have to understand the devil is clever. That's why he is the father of lies. He is the trickery one. He will deceive, he will lie, he will manipulate. And remember what I told you guys before, demons need a body to nest in it. They cannot just roam earth without a body. They need a body to nest in it. So be aware, not everyone you speak to is actually for you. They make their incentive by removing children. So you better believe they're going to get their money. They're going to get paid. Whether you're a good parent or not, they're going to get paid. So your kids are used as merchandises that sells in their eyes. They're not there to protect the children. They're not there to help the children because they would rather see the children on the street doing drugs than to be with their mother. That's what everybody needs to understand. Because if they were really for the parents, they would be reunifying children with their parents. I have seen parents, drug users on cocaine, on the street, who get their kids back faster than a good parent. I kid you not. And it blew my mind. I couldn't believe that actually happens. So that tells me that the system is so corrupt that they would rather suffer a good parent, make them suffer, right? Than actually reunify them with their kids. So anybody can just make a report and all of a sudden it's facts, it's evidence, it's real. What? Where is the evidence that that the parent did this? Where is it? Oh, well, the ex-husband said. That's it? The ex-husband said? Or the ex-husband's wife said? Or the ex-husband's mother said? And all this is evidence? So basically in juvenile dependency court is hearsay. It's hearsay. You're convicted on just hearsay. So do not assume that when you call a law firm who are qualified to fight CPS and to defend your rights, that it's a sales call. This is not a sales call. It's not a sales call. It's not about money. But you have to understand that the attorneys in the office work to get paid. They don't get paid by the state. The state doesn't pay their bills. They have to pay their own bills, just like I have to, just like Cassandra has to, just like Michael has to. Everybody have bills to pay. So people, when they call me, they say, oh, Georgette, I can't afford it. Why can't you guys have a heart and do pro bono? Well, the state gave you guys pro bono attorneys to you, but they get paid by the state. But our office don't get paid by anyone. They work for a living. They work for a living. Doesn't mean they don't have a heart. We do have a heart. However, I can't work and not pay my bills, right? I can't work and not have a roof over my head. So you guys have to be mindful, and you have to understand that, there is no pro bono attorney in a private office that fights against CPS. And you guys tend to think that you go into a family law attorney that has nothing to do with CPS, that takes $3,500 retainer from you or $2,500 retainer from you, that they're actually going to help you. They're not going to help you because they're not understanding of juvenile dependency cases. In our office, we have family law attorneys, we have juvenile attorneys, we have criminal attorneys, what have you. They're not the same. Juvenile is a very different case. You're fighting you by yourself, fighting the state. You against the state solo. Not your family, not your husband, not your girlfriend. You by yourself facing the state of California or the state of whatever. Virginia or Washington. It doesn't matter. You facing the state by yourself. That's how intense that is. When you're with family law, it's completely different. That's why state supersedes family law. State is higher than family law. So you guys need to think logically and don't expect an attorney to fight the state. Because if an attorney actually fights the state out of pocket, how can they stand after that? How can they survive and continue the fight? Sometimes people think attorneys are millionaires. That's not the truth. Attorneys get paid by cases that they actually help, cases that they fight for. So you can go to a Rolls-Royce dealership and ask to buy a Rolls-Royce with a Nissan price. It's not going to happen. So when you're choosing an attorney, you have to be sound mind. You have to have sound mind and think logically. And I tell you guys this, do not be emotional. Because you calling me, you're yelling at me for what you're dealing with. I can't hear what you're saying. I can't understand a thing you're saying because you're taking it out on me. That's the wrong person. In order for me to understand you, you have to understand what you're talking about. You have to know what you're bringing out of your mouth. All I need to know is the following: the county the case is in, when was the case open, how many children are involved, when is the next hearing, what type of hearing is it, which is the name of the hearing, and the date, the time of the hearing, and what was the allegation against you. You need to focus on the facts. I don't need to know if you hate your ex or not. I don't care. And I'm being straightforward. I don't know how to sugarcoat anything. I don't care if you hate your ex. I care about your kids. I care about certain things that will help me understand the case a little bit more. So there is no need for the stories. There is no need for the, I took care of him and whatever, I did this for his mom and I was a good woman. I don't need to hear that because we're focused on one thing, the children. You're a big girl. You're a big boy. What you've done for them, that's irrelevant. And that's how an attorney thinks. What you've done, how good you are as a wife, that's irrelevant at the point. You need to focus on getting your children back home. And don't ever think that CPS's involvement from day one, that because you're a good parent, they're not going to remove your kids. They will remove your kids. I have heard stories where they go to your house, say everything is okay. They leave, they come back the same night with a cop or 2 or 3 and remove your children. After they left your house, they're not going to go say, hey, I'm going to go get a cop, police officer. I'm coming back now. So don't go away. They're not telling you this. You know why? Because they want you home. They want to make sure you're in one place. They don't want you to run away. So you have to understand their techniques, their strategy of getting what they want. So Michael, I want you to share with everybody when you and I, how you and I met, and just share with them what you were telling me and Cassandra before the show.
Sure. Yeah, real brief. I think I met Miss G very early in my dependency case, maybe 2-3 months or something. And I had written a letter, just a lot of bullet points about what had happened, and then she actually reached out. I think I called her too or whatever, but anyway, we came in contact together, and she was fucking saying the same shit as she was saying. It's not shit, it's the truth. Speaking the same truth as she does to all of the viewers, to everybody I'm sure she knows about fucking CPS. And I don't want to say I was stupid, but I would say more naive, like, no fucking way, like blah, 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 blah. Like I said, early on my dependency case. And sure enough, then here comes a 6-month thing. And then I'm like, what the fuck? After the 6-month status review, I'm like, fuck, okay. Using my court-appointed attorney. And before you know it, everything happened so fast. That's another thing, So that's a good point Miss G made about being emotional about stuff. But no, everything that she says, everything that she has said to me and during our shows is accurate. It is fucked up. It is the when you think about people doing some really fucked up shit, the social workers are the ones that they're the worst people I've met in my entire life. I gotta say, 37 years on the planet, they are fucking hands down some of the worst. No, they are the worst fucking people I've ever met in my life. Mm-hmm. Hands down. And Miss G told me what it was like. And, I got to a certain point, I think, where I finally just, I believe, after experiencing a lot of this shit, then I was like, you know what? She was right. And I wish I would have listened to her earlier and not been thinking like I'm doing the right thing. I mean, I'm doing the shit in my case plan. I'm, always, I'm the one that was reaching out to the social workers when I wouldn't hear from them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was. I would be the one fucking trying to reach out. None of that shit fucking matters, So you can still very well lose your fucking kid if you are doing what's in the case plan and, staying in contact with a social worker, whatever it is. And you can still lose your fucking child for attempting to do the right thing, being concerned about your child in my case, and then being, again, I could say that, like, don't sign what your public defender tells you to sign. I fucked up and did that, but that was after the social worker had talked to my probation officer without a release of information, without anything. And I had a dirty drug test, and then that letter got sent to the court, and but fuck, everything happened so quick. And do not be deceived. Do not be deceived, because they are the masters of deception, and they'll use your fucking kid to deceive you. That's the fucking sick thing. It's a very sick game that they play. It's very sick. And so listen to Miss G.
And
be
also
nice to Miss G. Be nice to Miss G.
Thank you, Michael. And the thing about it is, what people also don't understand, that a system like this is a narcissistic system, and very narcissistic. And oftentimes what did I tell you guys before? That a demon house divided against itself, it will not stand. So a narcissistic system will always favor the abuser, always will favor the abuser. And the victim will be the abuser in their eyes. The victim will always be convicted, but the abuser will get their way. There's parents, like a father, for example, who is a narcissist, takes custody of his daughters and destroys their thoughts, manipulates their thoughts, manipulates everything. It's
sick. It's fucking sick, dude. My ex-wife is like that.
Yeah.
There's no concern for the kid at all. No concern for the child.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, what you guys don't understand, that demons will favor other demons. So when you see them put the children in an abusive home, or with the abusive party, abusive parent, that is, they know they're abusive. They know this because all the facts and the things that you handed to them to look at, they know it. But they still do it. And in your mind, you're confused. You think this is a dream. You think this is a Twilight Zone moment. You're like trying to wake yourself up from this nightmare.
Yeah.
But it's reality. That's how our government works. I mean, if you look at everything going on right now in the stores, in the department stores, in the gas stations, and look at all the prices, vegetables and food and meat. Now, look, I mean, everything has increased drastically. What did the Democrats say? Oh, inflation of 7.9%. No, it's not. It's way higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Have you guys heard that? It's 7.9, but it's way higher than that. Way higher than that. It's deception. The ear, what you hear, right? What you hear. If you're not discerned enough, you will believe everything you hear. But if you're not smart enough to see that it's way more than what they're telling you, then you will never be able to move forward. Knowledge is the key. Knowledge is the key. If anybody can get into your ears and your head and tell you what they want you to hear, and you believe it instantly without investigating it, without researching it, then the joke is on you. Am I right?
Yeah, you're part of the fucking. You're a demon. Those are the people that fucking that the social workers go to, and that's usually an abuser, a liar, a fucking that type of person.
Right.
So yeah, that's a beautiful point though, Miss G.
Like a
I mean, you
pawn
have to do the
in a
fucking
chess game.
research. Do the research yourself, you know,
And do
because
not attack them. I want you guys to understand, you can't go to a demon and attack a demon. You have to be mindful who you're dealing with. When you go attack them verbally and physically, that's not going to get you anywhere.
that's what they want.
That's exactly what they want. Like Michael said, that's what they want you to do. They want you to fall. They want to show how aggressive you are. They want to show how crazy you are. So they're going to poke you, keep poking you. That's what a narcissist does. They keep poking you, using your kids, until you lose it. And then they say, oh, look at her, she's crazy. Or look at him, he's crazy. You know, so keep that in mind. Do not allow them to control your emotions.
Hey, Miss G, can I stop you real quick for 1 second?
Sure.
I've actually got the head demon of the demon fucking squad, known as CPS, calling me right now. I mean, I'm not gonna answer, but see that? You know, like that's a fucking sign, dude. I believe in these signs, and like sometimes when I'm trying, I'm in the middle of trying to fight and do the right thing, something will happen, you know, that'll make it that much more difficult for me to do that. And I think to me, I take that as a sign. I think I heard Denzel Washington or some actor say, like, you know, it's a sign that you're like, take it as a sign as you're doing the right thing, you know, like you're doing what you do. And that piece of shit fucking calling me right now is just that, dude. It's crazy to see how strong of a machine these motherfuckers are, dude. The judge, the court clerk, the county count, like it's not. You guys gotta remember that it's not just your social worker.
Yeah,
it
but
is
you
a group.
understand, when Nancy Schaefer exposed CPS and the state for what they're doing, she exposed Bill Clinton. You guys have to understand.
He balanced the budget. He's the only president to do that. How did he do that? You know?
You guys have to understand the strategy with these politicians. You have to understand the strategy that they use. You're either for the people or you're not. Don't deceive the people. Don't deceive us, because we are paying for your salary. We, the
Exactly.
people, are paying for your salary. And for you, the government officials, the state, the counties, all of these people, you know, if you misuse your power, what does that say? So anybody can just go into office and misuse their power and use people and now use children and separate families apart? What kind of future do we have?
What kind of exactly? What kind of example do we set? That's why I feel like a fucking idiot sometimes, dude. Because my kid's a good kid, you know, and and that's because you know I'm not going to take all. Well, I'm going to take all the credit on this one because I spent the time with him. I spent the time to talk to him. I spent the time to explain things and always told him to be truthful and stuff, you know, to the best of his ability. And going through this, like I'm lying to him because I'm telling him to be good and truthful, but that's not what pays off, you know? Like it's just it's fucked because the example that the courts and then the government shows us is that it's okay to lie, that it's okay to to be a bad person basically, and you'll succeed. So I feel like I'm conflicted because I'm like trying to tell what I think is right, what I know is right, but it's not right. It's wrong, you know? So that's a very hard thing I've had to go through. Very, very difficult. So, you know, I just feel really bad because I understand the world now, especially more than I did, but I mean, what do you teach your kid though? Like, what do you know, you tell them to be.
The thing about our future are their children, our children.
Absolutely.
Yes.
80%, I think somebody mentioned here, 80%, here it is. By the way, I love you too. Rise up. 80%, it says 80% of prisons is former foster care children. 80%.
That's true.
80%.
That's a true. Yeah, that's a true
Is what?
statistic. 80% of the prisoners in prison right now are former
Uh-huh.
foster care.
That's fucking that's crazy. That's a horrible statistic.
Because you know what they teach the children? They numb their
Nothing.
pain. They numb their pain.
Do you want to know another thing?
They abuse
Is
them.
that it's the fact that when they grow, like I was reading an article that said foster children, when they age out of foster care, they make a joke to each other, which is not a joke at all, but they joke to each other saying, "Oh, so what homeless shelter are you going to be at? What homeless what corner are you going to be on?" Because they don't take care of our foster youth after the fact that they put them in there.
Fuck no, because they
should.
And
because they throw them away.
When our kids age out, when they don't want to give us our kids back, and they age out of foster care, they're homeless, or they don't know what to do. They don't teach.
They don't have the confidence.
In the world.
They don't have the confidence.
They have no confidence. Exactly, and it's sick. Like, that's what parents and people that are trying to be good for their kids are trying to teach their kids to be adults that are productive in the world. And you're taking them from us and making them unproductive adults that are in prisons just so that way you get more fucking money.
Yep, that's all it is. It's all about money. And the thing about it is, you guys, when our children grow up in a system like this, and we, the people, keep paying their salary, what does that say about us?
That we're fucking stupid. Like, I've essentially paid a person to fucking take my kid from me, you know, in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another fucked up realization, you know, and then like I said, I'm teaching my kid to do the right thing in a world that's full of wrong, you know, so fuck, it's just like I grapple with that a lot. It's horrible.
Yeah.
You know?
And then when the mother or the father lose their mind by, you know, cussing or getting angry, or they're tired of the injustice. You know, there's mothers who's been dealing for this for 9 years.
And they just snap,
you
know?
Look at Sandra. She's the non-offending parent. She had nothing to do with what happened to her ex and his girlfriend's statement against her. She didn't have a fair anything. She didn't even go to court. And her daughters were gone. Her daughters keep running away, want to go home to their mom. They keep running away to go to be with their mom.
It's fucked up.
CPS and the state would rather see the kids on the street than to give them to their mother that they keep running to.
Absolutely. Absolutely they would.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I don't want to say they, I want to say the fucking social workers, the government, CPS specifically. You know, why would they try to rebrand their name so much? You know, DCFS, FCD, whatever, you know, because they want to get away from that stigma so people will still trust them. But I assure fucking
you never
everybody.
trust a social worker, especially one that has on her business card or
a practitioner.
No, practitioner. That's bullshit. I'm sorry to say. Practitioner, my ass, practitioner. Practitioner, really, dude? Like, seriously? I mean, after when I saw the card, I felt like calling that 27-year-old or whatever the hell she was, age, and laugh at her face, actually, and ask her what school did she go to be a practitioner for CPS, to work for as a social worker for CPS. That just, I mean, honestly, that just, that blew my mind. Now they're changing their card title now. What's next? What's next?
I don't know. One of those.
Next it's going to say God. Next it's going to try to say God.
Yeah.
In CPS,
CPS worker God. Like,
on the dollar bill, to be on the dollar bill.
You guys are far from God, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be on the $100
like
bill.
You think you guys are, but you're not. You can't fucking just run people's lives like this. This is bullshit.
Right. You can't do that. But the thing about, like I said, they're using titles now. They're
because
using
people are starting to catch on to them, because of like what we're doing, what we're talking about, and things like that. And Mr. Davis, and there's some other attorneys that will put videos out too, but not a lot of people are bringing awareness to this fucking problem. That's what's fucking
Because they're
crazy.
scared.
some people bring awareness, but you guys have to be very mindful.
People are afraid. That's why.
No. Yes, people.
Yeah, I
Some
think
Yeah.
so. I think they're afraid
Because
to
I'm
say
missing the
something.
point. No, some people on social media do bring awareness. However, when they ask you for money to help you in your court case,
Mm-hmm.
not allow anyone to help you in your court case. Let me tell you one thing. First thing, they could be social workers undercover. B,
I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it.
there are many, by the way, and I've known about this for a long time. Number two, is that they say, "Oh, I got my children back. Let me help you get your kids back." That's false. When they get their children back, they didn't get their children back on their own. They didn't. If they hired an attorney, that attorney did the legwork. Do not give money to someone who's not qualified to be an attorney to help you get your kids back. Because a $500 here, $250 here, $125 here, it adds up. And guess what? You just paid someone that literally cheated you. That they can help you get your kids. You need to be aware of what's going on in the public eye, in the social media eye. Okay? So, with that being said, be careful who you entertain, because not everybody have your best interest at heart. Cassandra, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about like how I think that mandating reporting is like really stupid. It's the stupidest thing I've ever freaking heard of. Like, I hate when people mandate report things that they're not supposed to do. And like how you were saying, like people call for stupid reasons, and then yeah. So I was just like thinking, like, when is the right time for somebody to actually call? If everybody called on the at the right time, like stuff wouldn't be happening like this. Like our system wouldn't be so broken. That's half the problem, is people calling on people for no reason. Like, so I had like this story that I came across that that I read. It's a fictional story that's based off real events that somebody had posted.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ask at the end, like, what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to figure out, like, I'm like, what would I do? Like, I would want to know what would be the best, like, what do you think is the best time to call? Instead of calling for things that are not just because you don't like somebody or just because of that. Like,
but when they call, they don't say that, baby girl. When they call, they don't say we're calling because we don't like Cassandra, or we don't like.
yeah, I know, but like when somebody should actually, like, what?
But
Do you
CPS
get what I'm
doesn't
saying?
need an excuse. Remember, they operate not based on facts. They don't operate based on facts. It's like CPS is like Pandora's box. Once you open that box, you can't close it anymore. CPS is like Pandora's box. You open it, you can't close it. Anybody that makes a call, right? They have the opportunity now, CPS, the demons, to move in because somebody opened that box. Now they have a way to move in. And that's how it works. Their job should be investigating fairly. Their job is to make sure that the call that they received is an actual legit call. But we have seen CPS leave children in an abusive home, and they run after the victim and destroying the victim's lives. That's what I have seen CPS do. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Cassandra.
Yeah, you're right. But it's just like, if you actually see something happening, like, what are you supposed to do? Like if you as a person, like, you know in your heart that something's happening and then that child is in so much danger, but you know how CPS is, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, if you don't want that child to end up in a worse situation, like, even though they're in a pretty bad situation now, like, what are we supposed to do? Like, like, this is sad. Like, when you can't even call people for help because the people that help are not helping. They're making things worse.
Yeah.
And it's sick. Like, that's why I'm like, when are we actually supposed to call? Or when are we actually even supposed to be a human being and actually try to help somebody out? But then doing that is not helping. It's like making things worse. And I don't get it. Like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, it's confusing. The system is confusing. The government is confusing. I hope to God all of you guys voted. I hope to God you guys voted recently. Remember voting for judges, for voting um, like even the Social Security Commissioner office. Voting is very important. Voting is important because when you hopefully will vote for the right party, meaning you guys vote, some of you guys vote just because they're a Democrat or just because they're Republican. Don't do that. If they're doing the right thing and they're fighting the system, this corrupt system, and they're actually going to do something about it, that's who you need to vote for. Remember that. Not because he or she is a Republican or a Democrat. I mean, Cassandra and I had a talk about that last week on our show. If you recall, Cassandra, what was his name that was running for office?
Isaac. Hold on. I got it. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember right now. Isaac Bryan.
Yeah, and he's a Democrat, but he's a foster care child. He grew up in the system. He knows, but he's also a Democratic. So, but I told Cassandra, what? It doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. As long as he's wanting to help.
Exactly. So that's why I became an independent voter, meaning I vote for the right party. I don't necessarily go for Democrats and Republicans. No, I go for the right person.
The person with the right mission, the right mission.
Right. The one that's going to fight for people's rights. I mean, right now, our children are suffering. Children are suffering. They're suffering because they're not being told the truth. They're not being told what the truth is. They're being told lies. And that's the problem. I have a case where the children believe that the reason they're not seeing their mom is because of what their dad told them, because of the monitor's report. But that's not the truth. The children don't know that the monitor and the father are in cahoots together. The children don't know that the monitor and the dad scheduled it together, right, to make it happen. Because that monitor knows the father's family. I'm just giving you an example.
Don't expect anybody to do the right thing, Yeah. Don't expect
the lied to. When kids are lied to, and one day they will find the truth, but it will be too late. But unfortunately, the system lies to our children and lies to us too. I mean, they lie to children and lie to us. We are literally slaves of the government. That's who we are. We, the people, are slaves to the government. We pay them. We pay them, right?
To fuck us over.
To fuck us over. Yeah.
I didn't used to think like that. And I used to, like, when people would say things like that, I'd be like, oh, fuck, here he goes. This guy's going on a fucking, but it's
the same thing with me, like conspiracy theories, like everything like that. I'm like, there's no such thing as a conspiracy theory anymore. I believe them all.
Yeah. Or you got to at least, take them for what they are. And then,
because like this shit is way out. Like,
It is.
I used to think like cause this whole CPS thing was like, oh my, yeah, right. Human trafficking, yeah, right. Like, oh my God, you guys are fucking paranoid, yeah, right. Like until I'm living it.
Yeah,
My
people
kid's
don't
fucking going
understand.
through bullshit right now.
Right, and then people don't get that a child, a teenager misbehaving, or a young child misbehaving because she's not with their mom. They're not with their mom. They don't understand that it does something to their psyche. But then they blame the mother. And the father and his mother would keep telling the kids, it's all your mom's fault. It's your mom. It's your mom. It's your mom. It's your mom. Your mom does this. Your mom does this. Your mom does this. Your mom does this. It's true. There was a case of a mother that the monitor was related to, somehow related, like in like, you know, relationship as friends or close friends with the family member of their dad or their dad's wife. And that monitor literally became a monitor after the father, before the father fired the other monitor, right? So the father can have somebody on his side to do whatever he wanted them to do. So that lady became a monitor, and anybody can be a monitor. You know, that's like 4-hour class or something, a day class. And yeah, so she became a monitor, monitored the children, blah, 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 for like 2 years. And all of a sudden, oh, this mother is horrible. This mother does this mother does that, blah, 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 blah. And then the children should never see the mother again. She became the psychiatrist, the therapist, the jury, the judge, the prosecutor, district attorney, whatever. She became all that. And she herself, like, literally does drugs. She's an alcoholic. Like, during the visits, the mother would tell me she would drink, like, literally, and smoke around the children, you know, like outside, and the smoke like hits the house, comes in the house, all that. So it's kind of like, but you're telling the mother she's all this, but nothing that she's done is even looked at. And the father decided to say, okay, well, I'm just going to go along with the monitor and you will never see your children again. So the mother is like telling me, oh, this is kind of like, she was in like disbelief. Like, really? So even the abusers feel like they're above the law.
And they are.
And what
they are in a lot of cases.
And what a narcissist would say, a narcissist will always flip the script.
Oh.
Something, they're going to say you're doing it.
Absolutely.
Something, they're going to say you did it. Remember that. That's what a narcissist does. And then they would laugh at you. That's what a narcissist does too. I mean, it's so weird how everybody can relay when they watch the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, and they watch Amber Heard on the stand. That's
my ex-wife.
Yeah, that's the perfect behavior of a narcissist. And it's in men and women, not just women or men. It's in both genders. That's the perfect behavior of a narcissist.
I got the goosebumps when you said that, Miss G. Yeah. Because it is women and it is men, you know, but
yeah. So, I mean, men can be victims too. Women can be victims too. So that's why our court system is not trained well enough to be able to discern between a narcissist and a victim.
The truth, you know?
What helped Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is that they had money. Well, Amber Heard had her money because of her husband, you know, but because of their money. And they hired a group of great attorneys. Well, not Amber Heard, but Johnny Depp did. A group of great attorneys that actually exposed the truth and justice.
And by doing nothing more than using the other person's words against them, you know, that's the thing. I always thought that to myself. I'm like, dude, if we actually fucking got into a thing in a court, you know, setting, and I had somebody there that would that would take all the information I had and then put her against this information, the truth, basically, that she would fucking crumble,
Mhm.
you know. But unfortunately, like you said, money plays a factor into it. But in a sense, I'm very happy that happened, because that does bring awareness that it is a female and a male, that
Mhm.
females can't do this, and then males are the victim of this, and that they're, like we were talking about in the very beginning of the show, we have to fucking there's a great point you said, that like, we can be told this, we can be told that, whatever, but we have to do the fucking investigating ourselves, not just be like totally influenced by one side of a story. There are different sides, and you have to be that. You have to. That's, as a person, it should be within you to want to find out the information yourself,
Yeah.
and then make a determination.
Like Angela said, but does anyone ever think about these poor children? They don't think about the poor children.
Fuck, they don't.
They don't. If I had Bill Gates' money, which I always wish I did, if I had Bill Gates' money, I would literally hire a group of people to fight in court for families for free.
Absolutely, dude.
But see, people don't use their money wisely. What really gets me is that, in general, people think when a mother children is taken away from her is because the mother is the abuser. That's not
Is
the
a scumbag. Is horrible. She's a shitty person.
that people think that way, and unfortunately, that's not the case. And
they don't do the research, get the information.
And when I heard that what's his name Biden sent $80 billion to Ukraine, I almost lost my mind.
The gas prices are so high. There's
Ukraine, $80 billion to Ukraine. Really? When your people are suffering on the street, the gas prices are so high that people can't go to work. I mean, people are still making minimum wages, and I can't process this shit. But you are making fun of Trump? Are you kidding me right now? Biden? Really? Really? And Camilla Harrison? Really? When you can't even make sentences out of your mouth, like, without doing it? I mean, come on. I mean, it just blows my mind.
It's sad.
It's sad. It's very, very sad. And I know some of you might think, no, because I'm a Republican. I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat.
Miss G is the truth, man. That's what Miss G is. She's the fucking truth.
I see the bullshit, and hey, I talk about it because it is bullshit. It is.
It is.
It is. Biden. I honestly don't know what he is. He actually talks. He walks like a turtle, speaks like a turtle, and he looks like a turtle.
He has no soul. He has no soul.
Like, something is not right here.
I think he's a clone.
I don't know.
I think he's like not even real, like a robot or something. Like they cloned him and then like they just stuck him out there, and the real Joe Biden is like somewhere else because they didn't want to follow along with what they wanted. So like he's just a puppet out there, like.
Absolutely, and that's
what I feel
a big
like.
Portion. Mm-hmm.
Like call me conspiracy theorist, but that's what I think. That's my conspiracy right there. Like he's a clone. The real Joe Biden's in some fucking lab somewhere, locked up. Like
Gary said that clone
he doesn't even act the same.
Well, he did a clone of a turtle. There you go.
Oh my God.
A clone of a turtle. I mean, I honestly, people, again, do not just vote because he or she is your party. Please, please be wise. Please become independent voters. Do not just believe that the Democrats are the right and the Republicans are wrong or vice versa. This has nothing to do with the Democrats or Republicans. This has something to do with the right person doing the right thing for the people. The people.
Do the research.
Yes.
Do the research.
Do the research, people. I'm so tired when election time, they're like, red is this, blue is this. I'm like, dude, it should never be like that.
I know, it shouldn't.
Yeah, vote for the right party. not because you belong to that party. That's bullshit. And I'm telling you the God honest truth.
Absolutely. My dad was a perfect example of that. He was always Republican, like no matter what, like whoever the other person was, like it's like almost everything that came out of the other person's mouth was just bullshit. Well, it's like, why don't you listen to what that guy's saying? Why don't you fucking do the research on what the fucking policies he's, trying to fucking, implement and to make things better? Like you have to take the data.
Right.
And then make your choice, but that's what the problem is. People don't do that. It happens in the court system. It happens in your workplace. It happens everywhere. Nobody wants to actually, do any work, like it blows my mind. It really does. And I think that type of mentality is the reason that like an organization like CPS has been able to fucking thrive. Because nobody, either they turn the blind eye to it or they don't want to believe, like I had initially when we were in I was like, it's not that, it can't be that bad, like you said, I'm a good parent, I'm fucking, this, that, and the other, but then you start to see it 6 months hit and I'm like, what the fuck, that was bullshit. And then before you know it, the 12th month is here and you're just like, whoa, what the fuck? And that's partly because I didn't do the research, one, and then I just didn't want to believe it. The other part of it, not just being naive, thinking that people are trying to do the right thing, and nobody's trying to do the right thing these days.
And that's the problem. We become so naive and lazy in general because we're so occupied with work. We're so occupied with this that we, our friends tell us, vote for this person. Okay, I'll vote for this person,
The influence.
Yeah, and then everybody turns the blind eye to the, a blind eye. It kind of like, it makes you kind of delusional, a delusional thinker. A delusional thinker.
Because it's easier
to be a delusional thinker. Remember that.
It's a lot easier to be delusional than to actually get involved with like what's actually happening, the fucking ugliness, I don't know, the tragedies that are happening on a daily basis, like with fucking CPS, what we're here talking about, I think CPS is the biggest tragedy that anybody that I could imagine, you're fucking with our future, our children. So,
and that's the problem. And that's the problem, you guys. We need to educate ourselves. We need to stop. And I'm telling you this because I love people in general. I love kids, people in general, and animals.
Sure.
I'm going to give you advice like I'm your big sister. Okay. Do not do drugs. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from any substance that will control you.
Sure.
You need to control it. You need to control your here and now. Stay away from drug use. Stay away from alcohol use. I mean, it's okay to have a drink once in a while, but don't drink excessively to the point where you literally, how can I say it? You're not
need somebody to carry you back into the house, or something.
You do not want that. You want to be alert. The government wants you to be blindsided. The government wants you to be asleep. Law enforcement, if there's no crime, guess what? They're not going to have a job. CPS, if there is no crime or children, they're not going to have a job. Remember, they used us as merchandise. Jail facilities, they're not going to have a job if people are not arrested.
Yeah, and it does go back to the financial thing, like
stay away from anything that controls you.
Anyone.
Be in control of your life. You have to be in control of your present, and you have to center yourself. And I keep telling you this almost every week now. I say center yourself. Meditation, maybe I love meditation and I speak about it a lot because I've learned how to manage it when I was 14 or 15 years old. It was like I was like 14 and a half. And meditation helps you center yourself. Music, there's like ocean sound music, or you can download it on Spotify or or Apple Music. You can download that and put scented candles around you and just sit in a quiet place, just candles, scented candles, and just listening to the music that relaxes you. I'm not saying rap. I'm saying like natural nature music, like rain falling, raindrops, or ocean breeze or something. So, and center yourself. Take a deep breath from your stomach out, okay? A couple of times. And just close your eyes and just center yourself. Center yourself calmly. And you will see what I'm talking about. Just clear all the clutter out, all the hatred you have for people or friends or your whoever hurt you in your life. Get them out of your head. Clear it out. Take it out. And then you'll think clearly. And when you do your research, do not do it using emotions. I know our kids are everything to us. Yes, they are. However, they need you stronger right now. They need you to put on your thinking hat and the armor of God and be a soldier.
The breastplate of valor or whatever it is. Yeah.
That's what your kids need you to be. When you get your kids back, then you can cry all you want. All you want, cry. Tears of joy, all you want. But right now, don't allow the enemy to control you. You have to be in control of your destiny. And that's the only advice that I can give you guys. And I pray to God that you're listening. And I pray to God that you understand what I'm trying to relay. If you guys want to be on the show, I know I heard Angela mention that, or somebody, I think it was Angela, mentioning that she would like to share her story with us. You're more than welcome, Angela, to share your story with us by emailing grace@vincentwdavis.com. That email address right there, Grace, she's the show producer. She will definitely get in contact with you. Just let her know you want to be on Miss G's show. Whether you want to be on Real Talk or just Fight CPS with Miss G, Grace will be able to get that from you later. Any one of you.
I don't want to say I'm speaking for you, Miss G, but I kind of am. Well, I would love some social workers to come on here too. I think that'd be great to actually have a debate with a social worker. Let's see if they, if a social worker would want to come and talk about some of these issues. I don't think it will happen, but we got to keep that open. I think we do, because like how we were saying, we got to do the research. We got to get both sides. I think a social worker coming on here would be a leap in the right direction. But do you think we'll get a social worker? I don't know.
Honey, I don't think a social worker is safe around me at all. I might make her cry on the show. It will not be a comedy show, that's for sure. There'll be some shit going on that show. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think the worker is safe with me right now. Yeah. Not a great idea. Look, Gary said a great idea. I will disagree with both of you at this moment. Oh my gosh. She said that's why it's a great idea. No. No, you guys. No.
Oh man.
It's like having the devil in for dinner. No. Oh my God. She said, Angela said, I would love it if a social worker, I'd love it a social worker destroyed me by her fake evaluation. Honey, they
do.
They do that intentionally. I want to say something before we end the show to Angela, who said, yes, I was told I cried too much. I stopped and used no emotion. Honey, I'm not telling you not to cry because you lost your children.
You have to, man. I fucking cried so many motherfucking tears.
Tells you that you're crazy because you showed some type of emotion. You cried over your children. Baby girl, that social worker is a demon. She has no feelings whatsoever. She has absolutely zero feelings. Zero. She has no soul. Because he knows a mother's love for her children, she would never say that. They would never say that. They have no decency. None of them do. None of them do. And they will reap what they sow. All of them will reap what they sow.
I
And
fucking hope so. I
yeah,
hope so,
they
man.
do. They will reap what they sow. They will. People think that evil people get away with everything. They don't. They don't. Even the trash, underneath the ocean, all the way to the bottom, it always
Mhm.
surfaces. It will always surface. You have to understand that they will reap what they sow in their personal life, in their own children, if they have any, in their own family, in their health. It doesn't matter. In their money, in their status, in their whatever that they value more than God, they will reap what they sow. You might not see it, but eventually you might hear about it. Pubic hair on a toilet bowl of life. You and Michael should talk. Gary said she is a lonely piece of pubic hair on a toilet bowl of life. There. Did you read that, Michael?
Wow, yeah, that sounds great.
That's
Who
her
are we
social
talking
worker.
about? Are we talking
Social-
about my?
No,
Never mind.
no. She's talking about her social worker, I assume.
Oh my. Well, yeah, I could. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Angela said she's going to ask her social worker to come on. You guys, Michael, what have you started?
I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing if we can get a social worker on here and then actually be better than the social worker and then come into it with realistic questions and try to find out what goes on in that little fucking pea-sized brain of a fucking social worker. I mean, excuse me. We can get the social worker in here and then ask him some normal questions. That would be amazing.
You, Michael, I swear.
But I don't think it.
Said I'll bring the chips. Okay, she's gonna bring the chips. Everybody's gonna bring popcorn.
Yeah, who needs a Super Bowl, man? We got a social worker on the show.
Movie night at Miss G. Oh my God, that's exactly what we're gonna call the show. Movie night at Miss G. But hey, if
no,
you guys,
president for 2024, man. Is that the election year?
That's what you and Darren.
That's what Darren said. Yeah, I thought that was a great thing. I thought it was a beautiful thing. I think it was.
Oh my God, I love him.
Is he okay? How's it? He has a thing coming up, right? Is he all right?
Yeah, I will find out later after the show.
Good. Yeah, hopefully it's all good for him.
But if you guys have a social worker that wants to come on my show, which I hardly doubt.
I actually do too. I actually doubt one would come on here. So.
Yeah.
We want one though.
Yep. I think Gary would want to be a guest that day on my show too. Oh my God. Oh my God. They will. Oh my God. You guys would eat them and you would guys chew them and spit them out. Like literally. Chew them and
That's when you get the stutter.
Yeah.
The stutter. I've noticed between every social worker, well, not every, but I think like a lot of them that I've had one-on-one interaction with.
Yeah.
Like when I asked a question that was difficult for them to answer, which was a simple question from what I recall, stuttering. They all had the same reaction, a stutter, which I found really odd. I think I mentioned that to you before, Miss G, but I don't know. Where do they like?
What do you mean a stutter? What do you mean a stutter?
Like, I'd be like, oh, well, why am I even attached to this case? Me and my ex-wife were divorced when this happened. I had nothing to do with it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and then like a stutter, like they can't just answer it like a normal question, right? Like if you ask me, Michael, like, why are you so angry? And I'd be like, because of this motherfucker over here. And then, you know what I mean? Like I would answer the question.
Right.
But when the question's difficult, like, or easy, say I ask a simple question, they can't answer it. They will stutter, and that's happened with, I think, 3 or 4 different social workers.
They do, sir. They do, and actually, if you guys pay attention in court, also, usually the abusive attorney or the abusive party would be very low key, meaning they speak very low.
Sure.
Very low key. So pay attention to that. Usually, a deceiver or a narcissist, their voice is very low in court.
Yeah, there's no like very like when you get emotional a little bit, like you'll go up and down. Okay, I can see
Very
that.
low key. So in order for you, and I tell this to everybody and people that I know very well, if you guys are gonna be in a relationship with anybody, fucking study psychology. Buy psychology books, educate yourselves, know how to read a person, know by their body language, by their behavior. You don't just put your heart on your sleeve and then you like, okay, I'm in love. You're not in love. You're an idiot. You're not in love. You're in love when you really know that person. Michael, stop it. I'm trying to be serious.
It's okay. Oh my fucking Miss G, dude.
Okay, but it's true. Know who you're involving yourselves with. I had a guy that said, I just had a child with a woman that has 4 prior CPS cases. I said, did you not know about this? He said, no. And how
What
long
did he look like? What did he
said,
look like? That's the question.
6 months. He's known her for 6 months, and she got pregnant. So he has no idea what CPS is, but he got involved with her, and there you have it. Now he's involved with CPS because of her 4 prior CPS cases. So learn who your partner is. Do not just fall in love with love. Learn who you were falling in love with, and be able to distinguish by their behavior and what they say and what they do. And if you have to do a background check on them, do it. You can't operate on your feelings and emotions, but that's not going to get you anywhere. You have to be, sound-minded. You have to know what you're getting yourself into, and because you don't want to reap the consequences behind your own actions later on. And yes, lust is one of the reasons too. Lust is just a few seconds of pleasure. Just don't do that. Don't fall in that trap. Is Miss G a Gemini? No, I'm not a Gemini. But why did you ask if I was a Gemini? Gary said, you mean use common sense? Yes, Gary, common sense. But sometimes our common sense is it really common sense? Because sometimes when we fall in love with somebody, we're falling in love with the idea of love. Because anybody can be a charming person. I mean, a charmer. Or are they charming? There's a difference. People who are charmers are different than people who are charming. Charmers, they're using an act to charm you. Charming, they're already in them. They are polite. They're charming. They're gentlemen, or she's behaving like a ladylike or whatever. But that has to be in them. But when somebody's a charmer, they're using that as an act to charm you into falling in love with them. So there's a difference between the two. Hey, Geraldine, I remember you now. Hi, sweetheart. What else? It's lust in the beginning. Yes, it's lust in the beginning. There you have it. Just me said, I have reached the CPS rules, guidelines, and proper procedures from my county, the family laws in California, well as case laws from the Supreme Court, and found 9 supporting me. That's great. That's amazing. Just me, I don't know your name. I don't even know if you and I spoke before, but I would love to hear from you. if you can call the office, please, and speak to Joni, Rachel, or Diane, that I would like to speak with you and leave your number and your name with them. She said, get a bit by the lust bug. She's so cute. Can you please put me in my messenger who I have to contact to get on? Put in my messenger. Oh, Angela. Oh, I see what you're saying. I actually posted Grace's email address. And what I was trying to say earlier, Angela, is contact Grace. This is Grace's email address. She's the show producer. Please email that email address if you want to be on my show. And Grace will be able to speak with you and schedule you on the show without a problem. My attorney, Just Me said my attorney won't look at any of it. Okay. Like I said, Just Me, just make sure that when you talk to the receptionist, Jody, Rachel, or Diane, let them know that your name on YouTube is Just Me, so that way I remember, and I will definitely call you once I get an email from them. And usually, what I do is when I contact people, I always usually text them as well, so that way they have my contact information, and will be able to text back and forth if they have any more questions or if they want to speak with me. They usually text me to call them. Angela, I just posted the email a few seconds ago. I just posted Grace's email a few seconds ago, honey. All you have to do is email her, put in your full name and your phone number on the email on the body of the email message, and let her know that you want to be on my show, and she will contact you. But just Grace, if you could just post your email address again, please. Hold on a second. Looking, here it is, Grace. Okay. Okay, guys, I have to call it an end. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is Fight CPS Real Talk with Miss G at 4:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And Friday's Relatives Fight CPS with it's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Remain strong, guys. I love you so much, and I do pray for each and every one of you. If you guys want me to pray for you by name, not just by the name that you use for YouTube or Facebook, you can always message me on my Facebook page, and I will write your name on my prayer list. I do have a prayer group every Tuesday night, and I usually put all the names that I come across on my shows. I want you guys to remain strong, and you're not bad parents, you're great parents. But one day soon, CPS will get what they deserve, and the injustice will stop. But stay focused, stay strong, and don't use force or evil doing to anyone that does evil to you. But for some of you, you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I got you, Angela. I definitely got you. And for the rest of you guys, please, please, please message me on Facebook and write in your real name. That is like Angela. I'm writing it now. And I will definitely put you in my prayer list. So far, I have 354 people already on my prayer list. And believe it or not, that prayer group that I have, it takes at least 5 hours just to name everybody. Thank you, Angela, so much, honey. Thank you. All right, guys. I love you guys. I will never forget about you now that I know your real name. I didn't know that was you until you told me, baby girl. But I will talk to you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow on the show. Again, it's Fight CPS Real Talk with Miss G. God bless you all. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.